Oh, hi. I was just putting some of my new ornaments on my Christmas tree. I have some beauties. I really like them. And it makes me think of the people who gave them to me. They're very, very special. Well, I hope that you have had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you've been surrounded by family and people who love you, and maybe even the odd friend, even though we're kind of back almost in lockdown again, right? Yeah. But I hope you've had some wonderful things to eat and maybe even a present that you were hoping for. That's exciting, isn't it? You know, this weekend of Christmas makes me think, well, it makes me think of a lot of things. You'll remember that we've been looking at our Advent wreath this year, and we have hope and joy and peace and love. Love is the candle that we light just before the Christ candle at Christmas. And when I think of Christmas, I think that's kind of like the biggest love that we can ever think of. Sometimes people will say in their songs and poems written, love came down at Christmas. And it really did, didn't it? God showed us more love than anybody can even imagine. He gave us his own little son, a baby, wrapped in rags, really, and born in a manger. Wow, that was a lot of love because God trusted us to look after his son Jesus. He put Jesus here on earth to live among us and to teach us and to look after us. That's a lot of love. You know, when I was going through my ornaments, I have a couple here that are my favorites, two of my favorites, and they're little slippers. Now, Hattie, my granddaughter, wore this one when she was just a baby. And then 2 years later, Evie came along and she wore this one. Look at these tiny, tiny little shoes. Now, I've told you before how much I love Hattie and Evan. And it kind of reminds me of, you know, in the movie When the Grinch Stole Christmas, and when the Grinch's heart breaks open and they say that it grew 3 times? Well, when I think of my granddaughters, I feel like my heart is growing and I just can't keep it all in. Well, it's kind of like this is my love for them. They're little and I'm big. And my love for them is bigger than their love can be. Because I'm bigger and older and I've lived longer and maybe I know more things. Well, imagine if my love is that much bigger. Imagine how much bigger God's love might be. It might be like this much bigger. That's a lot of love, isn't it? And that's something to remember at Christmas, is God's promise of love for all of us. It was manifested, or it came to earth in the sign of a little baby named Jesus. But there are signs of God's love every day in our lives. Now, if we have this much love from God all the time, and the Bible tells us there is nothing we can do to keep God from loving us, well, I think if we have that much love, maybe part of the story of Christmas is telling us that we need to share that love. If God is going to love us this much, surely we can take that love and spread it around the world. We can spread it into our families and into our schools and into our neighborhoods where we play and do all sorts of things with people. You know, your mums and dads and grandmas and grandpas and people that are important to you, that are helping you to raise you and helping you to live. Well, they show God's love every day when they kiss you and tell you that they love you, when they make you a peanut butter sandwich or make your lunch to go to school, or even when they take you to the doctor or the dentist and you don't want to go. All of those things are things they're doing out of love for you. And when they pray over you at night, that's another sign of God's love. Well, it doesn't have to stop with our parents. We can share that love too. And we've talked about that all year. Ways that we can show our love. It can start with being respectful to mom and dad and the big people in our lives, and it can go on to be love between friends, where you help somebody out that might be having a tough time or that maybe doesn't have as much as you do. Well, we can take our little bit of love and we can make it even bigger by sharing it. And after we've done that, we will know that we are sharing God's love, and that God's love for us, this big, big, huge love, is with us all the time. Okay? So you guys have an awesome week. I'll see you in 1 week. And in the meantime, remember, Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful week with your family and friends. And remember God's love. And remember to share it. Okay? All right, guys. Bye-bye.